Number 10. Cody Garbrandt is the current UFC bantamweight champion and is one of the heaviest hitters in the UFC bantamweight division. He has looked amazing inside the octagon, finishing 9 of his 11 opponents either by TKO or by knockout. He is known for his hand speed and accuracy when striking and only needs a slight opening to finish the fight. He last defeated Dominic Cruz by a unanimous decision to win the UFC bantamweight title. Number 9. Conor McGregor possesses one of the heaviest hands in the UFC featherweight and lightweight divisions. He has the ability to use his movement and speed to throw heavy strikes, slowly breaking down his opponent. He most famously knocked out former pound for pound number 1 UFC featherweight champion Jose Aldo in just 13 seconds at UFC 194. Before that, he had finished the likes of Chad Mendes and Dustin Poirier. He last defeated Eddie Alvarez by TKO in the second round at UFC 205 to become the first ever 2-weight world champion. Number 8. Tyron Woodley is the current UFC welterweight champion and is one of the hardest hitters in the UFC welterweight division. He is a big welterweight who possesses the power to make it a bad night for any fighter. His freakish power is a challenge for anyone who is willing to get inside the octagon with him. He has notable finishes over Josh Koscheck, Dong Yong Kim and the former UFC welterweight champion Robbie Lawler. He last fought Stephen Thompson at UFC 205 where the fight was ruled a majority draw. Number 7. Roy Nelson has one of the most brutal knockout power in the UFC heavyweight division. The power he possesses in his hands can change the circumstance of the fight, even when he's losing. He mainly relies on his overhand right to get the job done in his fights. He has notable finishes over Brendan Schaub, Stefan Struve, Mirko Krokop, Matt Mitrione and many more. He last defeated Antonio Silva by a knockout in the first round at UFC Fight Night 95. Number 6. Derrick Lewis is one of the most vicious strikers in the UFC heavyweight division. His wild striking ability allows him to generate power and land devastating knockout blows. He hits like a truck and many fighters are overwhelmed by the power Derrick Lewis possesses. He puts full power into every strike he throws and likes to finish the fight as soon as possible. He last defeated Shamil Abdurrahimov at UFC Fight Night 102. Number 5. Francis Ngannou is the most scariest heavyweight prospect in the UFC. He possesses one of the most vicious knockout power in the division. In his fights, all it takes is one clean shot from him to put the lights out. It is crazy to think that a fighter like Francis Ngannou has only been fighting less than 4 years and has progressed very quickly in MMA. He is a rising heavyweight prospect and has finished last of his 3 fights in the first round. He last defeated Andrei Arlovski by TKO in the first round at UFC on Fox 23. Number 4. Junior Dos Santos is the former UFC heavyweight champion and possesses one-punch knockout power in the division. When he fought Cain Velasquez at UFC on Fox 1, all it took was an overhand right from Junior Dos Santos to end the fight. His powerful strikes allow him to slowly break down his opponent and helps him set up the knockout blow. He has one of the best boxing skills in the division and is very accurate when striking. He last defeated Ben Rothwell by a unanimous decision at UFC Fight Night 86. Number 3. Stipe Miocic is the current UFC heavyweight champion and possesses one of the heaviest hands in the division. He is a well-rounded fighter who possesses great striking and has shown in his fights that he only needs a few strikes to end the fight. He has made easy work of top UFC heavyweights such as Andrei Arlovski, Fabricio Verdum, Mark Hunt and many more. He has finished his last 3 fights all in the first round and last defeated Alistair Overeem by knockout in the first round at UFC 203. Number 2. Mark Hunt is one of the heaviest hitters to ever compete in mixed martial arts. He is a world-class striker who packs enormous amounts of power into his punches, and it only takes one of his punches to end the fight. He is known for his walk-off knockouts and has finished a number of fighters in the UFC heavyweight division. He last fought Brock Lesnar at UFC 200 where he lost the fight by a unanimous decision. Later, it was found that Brock Lesnar failed his drug test for 2 banned substances and the fight was changed to a no contest. Number 1. Anthony Rumble Johnson is one of the hardest hitters in the UFC. Ever since he made the move up to the light heavyweight division, he has looked like a totally different fighter, knocking out majority of the top light heavyweights viciously. His brute strength, combined with his great striking, gives him the ability to cause enormous amounts of damage to his opponents. He only needs one opportunity to land a clean shot to put the lights out. This was seen in his last fight, where he only needed 13 seconds of the first round to flatten Glover Teixeira at UFC 202. He is one of the most scariest fighters in the UFC, and I believe he is the hardest hitter in the entire sport.